Almost 1,000 days ago, we saw the first trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6, where it featured several franchise firsts, but highlighted viral Florida Man parodies more so than anything else. These included a gator being removed from someone's swimming pool, a woman twerking on top of a moving car, a well-fed man embracing a storm, a gator paying for gas, an old man doing some yard work in a thong, and last but not least, a man who resembles the Joker attending a Bond court hearing. For those who aren't familiar, Florida Man is a popular internet meme and cultural stereotype referring to individuals, usually men, who commit bizarre, absurd, or comical crimes and acts in the US state of Florida. The inspiration for the state of Leonida in the upcoming title, Grand Theft Auto 6. In the interest of milking this game as much as possible before its release, this got me thinking, are Rockstar Games going to include more of these Florida Man references into the fictional world of Leonida? And if so, which ones would they include? Furthermore, where on the Vice City map would they be located? Take this hypnotic twerking scene for example. The real-life video was recorded while driving down MacArthur Causeway not too far from Miami Beach. The in-game parody just a few blocks away from this exact spot. If Rockstar are moving towards more realism than ever before, will they place additional Florida Man events relative to where they happened in real life? Or will they sprinkle them randomly throughout the map? A question nobody asked for. But to answer this, it would only make sense to take a look back at some of the biggest and most interesting Florida Man stories to make headlines over the last 10 years. Utilizing the YANIS mapping project along with Google Maps, that's exactly what we're going to do in this video. Starting recently with a story from earlier this year where a 56-year-old Florida man was arrested after using stolen identities to pose as a nurse at a retirement rehab facility for a second time.
He was accused last September of applying for nursing jobs using another person's ID and license.
A local police sergeant watched a TV news broadcast about his prior crimes and suddenly realized the fugitive was the exact same person treating her elderly relative. Based on elderly NPCs having already been featured in GTA 6 screenshots, along with Florida being world famous for its massive elderly or retiree population, it wouldn't be too surprising to see Rockstar adding in a story similar to this somewhere throughout the city. And if they are taking realism further than ever before, the real story could indicate that an in-game equivalent would likely be placed in a residential area north of Lake Leonida. But of course, just like everything else in this video, all of this is nothing but speculation. In 2025, the iconic Smokey Bear, the longtime face of the US wildfire prevention campaign, helped law enforcement arrest a Florida man accused of stealing his signs from state forests across Florida. The suspect traveled from Pensacola all the way down to Orlando, stealing Smokey Bear signs along the way and selling them on Facebook Marketplace for $1,900. Interesting, considering we've already seen a fire danger sign featuring a character named E-Eagle, a parody of Smokey the Bear in GTA 6 promotional material. Given Pensacola's northwestern location, it would make sense to see something like this, if even possible, somewhere within the Mount Caliga National Park area or very nearby. In 2024, a 38-year-old Florida man was arrested after climbing a 150-foot T-Mobile cell tower and impersonating a company worker. Witnesses watched for hours as he disconnected cables, threw objects from the tower, and caused cell phone outages while he insisted he had a job to do.
After about 4 hours of negotiations, he came down and was arrested.
Coincidentally, a cell tower kind of similar to this appears in Trailer 1. So what are the odds that you, the player, won't be the only one climbing towers like this? A likely location for such an event to occur could be just north of Hamlet, as mappers have already established this to be the location of the tower seen in Trailer 1. In 2023, a 44-year-old Florida woman stole a fire truck from a small-town volunteer fire department after being allowed to spend the night at the station. The fire department chief had allowed Belinda Woe to stay the night at the station, but when he returned the next afternoon, both Belinda and the fire truck were missing. This happened in the town of Wellborn, home to less than 3,000 people. So we can imagine placing an event like this outside of a big city south of the Mount Caliga National Park area, or somewhere nearby. In 2022, Florida man Eric Murder survived a brutal alligator attack after getting lost in the woods near a lake.
She finally did her death roll and took off with my arm.
And that's just where his story begins.
Trying to avoid walking around the lake, he attempted to do something much easier. swim across it. Unfortunately, a gator attacked him, grabbed his forearm, and dragged him underwater multiple times before performing a death roll that ultimately tore off his arm. After the attack, Eric spent 3 days lost in the swamp, badly injured and trying to navigate using the sun and power lines until he finally found help near a fence line. All of this happened in some woods near Lake Manatee Fish Camp, which is south of Tampa on the west coast of Florida, making the area of Port Gallhorn a likely candidate for an event like this.
Do not feed the gators.
In 2021, Florida man Eugene Bosey trapped an alligator inside a garbage bin, rolled it down to a nearby pond and released it. He said he had used the trash can because he had seen similar ideas on TV.
The weight of him was heavier than I thought he was. That's the only way I was telling him, I was like, oh, he's kind of heavy.
Wildlife experts later warned that the stunt was extremely dangerous and said that he should have either left the alligator alone or called wildlife officials instead. All of this went down in a neighborhood just north of Orlando, so a story similar to this, if even possible, might show up in a neighborhood we're not even aware of yet. In 2020, a Florida man with Disney tattoos was arrested for stealing a parrot named Lapis by placing it in his shorts pocket and simply walking out of the pet store. Considering we've already seen NPCs with pets in trailers 1 and 2, it's plausible we might see similar pet references somewhere in Vice City, perhaps at a pet store or even strip mall. This story took place on the west coast of Florida, putting Port Gallhorn, Yorktown, or even St. Joseph as a possible equivalent in-game location. This is where the Florida man energy ramps up. In 2019, a naked Florida man wearing only a woman's sports bra, cap, and sneakers was caught on video burgling company trucks in Newport Richey. The bizarrely dressed suspect spent hours ransacking vehicles, stealing tools, clothes, and then leaving drug paraphernalia behind inside one of the trucks. Deputies noted that the suspect's distinct lack of clothing was their best lead for an arrest. Once again, if Rockstar are taking realism seriously, Port Gallhorn would be a likely candidate for this event's location. In 2018, an intoxicated 23-year-old Florida man scaled a 10-foot barbed wire fence to break into the St. Augustine Alligator Park after hours. He spent several hours wandering the grounds before jumping off a structure directly into an exhibit containing massive 12-foot Nile crocodiles.
In nothing but his boxer shorts.
One of the large reptiles attacked him, biting his foot and lower leg, but he managed to break free and escape the enclosure. The next morning, park employees discovered a trail of blood, a pair of discarded shorts, and a single floating croc. The shoe, not the animal.
Rubber floating Crocs, coincidentally.
St. Augustine being in the northeast of Florida means a location for such an event to land would likely be Ambrosia, Waning Sands, or another location we're still unaware of yet. In 2017, yet another naked Florida man caused a 10-hour standoff in Hollywood Circle in Miami by scaling a 300-foot crane and throwing construction materials, including heavy counterweights, onto the street below.
His family came in here to try and buy clothes because I guess he needed clothes to come down.
The incident prompted a massive police response, resulting in the suspect being subdued with a stun gun inside one of the unfinished high-rise buildings after a tense negotiation process. Hollywood Circle being north of Ocean Beach could indicate that an in-game equivalent location could be Bohemia or somewhere close by. In 2016, a 23-year-old Florida man tossed a live 3.5-foot-long alligator through a Wendy's drive-thru window in Royal Palm Beach. Joshua James, who found the reptile on the side of the road, threw it into the kitchen as a practical joke. Initially facing felony charges, James pleaded guilty to the misdemeanors and was sentenced to probation, community service, but more seriously, a ban from Wendy's. The case was widely reported as a bizarre incident involving a deadly weapon classification for the alligator.
Josh James' parents are telling us that he is an outdoorsman and that Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter, was his idol.
This story in particular was one of the most common Florida man stories that popped up when researching this whole topic. So if fast food joints like Burger Shot and Clark & Bell do make a return, then perhaps there might be a decent chance we could see a Leonida man story similar to this somewhere throughout the city. And seeing as though this happened 25 miles east of Lake Okeechobee, a location such as Lake Leonida or Waning Sands probably makes the most sense. Florida's real-life reputation for bizarre crimes and eccentric personalities provides the ultimate ready-made blueprint for the franchise's signature satire, but this is not by accident. Time for the fun stuff stay with me on this. Florida's government in the Sunshine Laws are a series of highly progressive legal mandates that guarantee the public and the media near total access to state and local records and meetings. In most states, a reporter must file a formal Freedom of Information Act request and wait weeks or even months to see police reports, by which time the news cycle has already passed. In Florida, a journalist sitting at a desk can refresh a local sheriff's department website every hour, spot a narrative about a man throwing an alligator through a Wendy's drive-thru window, download the mugshot instantly, and publish the viral story within minutes. You, as a member of the public, can actually do this yourself, providing you follow these steps on screen now. Let me know how you go with that. None of this is ideal for the people getting arrested, but it's entertaining for everybody else, especially when a game like Grand Theft Auto is heavily based on the state of Florida. Though in saying this, one of the clips featured in trailer 1, this one in particular, the one with the woman ready to do some remodeling, was actually inspired by a real event that happened in California. This shows that Rockstar could not only be taking inspiration from Florida alone, but also from other states. And if true, we could expect to see some Florida Man energy from all over the country. Rockstar could be populating the map with these outrageous real-world parodies, not just for fun, but for a constant stream of bizarre and viral NPC encounters that you, the player, can discover on your own, or even view on the in-game social feeds. The reasoning behind the Florida Man parodies could have actually justified the development of new NPC actions. We've already seen pets celebrating with booze, hitching rides, and checking lottery tickets. Who's to say that these unique everyday actions are only in the game because without them, these iconic Florida Man references, along with in-game social media, simply wouldn't work. These apparent Leonida Man events running in parallel to the main story, side missions, sports, and upkeep of your protagonists will likely make Vice City feel alive like no other GTA game before, which is great considering it's been 13 years. Once again, all of this is pure speculation for fun, but only for 90 or so more days. Fingers crossed. That's it for this video, but before you go, tell me a Florida Man reference you'd like to see included in Grand Theft Auto 6 and why. And until further unnecessary speculation videos, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.